Ladies, if you're thinking about getting married, remember this: do it early. Don't wait too long. Before I turned 30, I wanted to find someone who was a wealthy heir, earning over $1 million a year, and I could actually date guys like that.
What a surprise.
After 30, I aimed for career professionals like myself, earning around $300,000 a year, and I could still find them. But after 32, I started looking for someone making at least $10,000 a month, who had a house with a down payment and could afford a wedding gift of $50,000. Even that became difficult. I couldn't find anyone. This year, now at 34, I don't need a house, a car, or a wedding gift. I'm okay with skipping the wedding banquet and not having any gold jewelry or even wedding photos, but I still can't find anyone. They think, even if you have a car, a house, and a degree, you're already 34. Next year, you'll be 35.
I just want to give some context here. It looks like this chick is heard as like a market where single women go to be partnered up with men, and she's not getting any attention. It's not looking good.
A high-risk age for pregnancy. They assume there might be fertility issues, so I feel like despite my great potential, I completely messed it up.
The anxiety of older single women in China has become increasingly visible on social media. Some people mock them for wanting children at 38, using phrases like, "the power's about to go out." Others compare women who have had abortions to houses where someone died. These harsh comments reveal a cruel societal attitude, tying women's personal experiences to their perceived worth in marriage. In this hostile environment, many women are desperate to get married quickly, with some even openly offering to marry down or provide dowries on platforms like Douyin, Chinese version of TikTok. At the start of 2025, a popular influencer known
Did I just hear that right? Did he say the women are willing to pay dowries?
marry down or provide dowries on platforms like Douyin, Chinese version of TikTok.
Wow.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
So for those of you who don't know what a dowry is, a dowry, also called a bride price or Kylie, is a sum of money or gifts that a man's family pays to the bride's family as part of the marriage process. And we're not talking flowers and chocolates. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even a house, a car, and cash on top. It's seen as a way to show that the man is financially capable of supporting a wife. But in today's China, it's become a full-blown financial burden. China is dealing with a major gender imbalance. There are millions more men than women, thanks in part to the one-child policy and cultural son preference. At the same time, the economy is slowing, youth unemployment is rising, and the cost of living is through the roof, especially when it comes to housing. So a man is expected to own a house, own a car, have enough savings to pay a dowry, and still support both his aging parents and his future family. That's a massive load. And for most young men, it's not even realistic. More and more men are choosing not to marry at all. And the few men who can afford marriage, they now have leverage because they're in short supply. So what's the result? Men who do marry are now raising their standards, and many are starting to demand more traditional values from women, especially with growing frustrations around the rise of Western influence, more sexually liberated women, a decline in traditional femininity, and even a preference for virgin brides. Some men are now demanding a penalty or a discount on the dowry if the woman they marry isn't a virgin. And before you think that's a fringe thing, it's not. This is a documented trend in rural provinces and even some urban areas where the pressure on men is brutal and unforgiving.
At the start of 2025, a popular influencer known as Athena shared her frustration as she turned another year older.
I could even pay a dowry of $50,000.
Some took it further.
I could even bring a man into my family.
I gotta say it. You guys heard it. Go to China. Go to China. They want to pay you to marry. It sounds like that's the place to be right now. These chicks are willing to pay? That's crazy.
Pay him a dowry, have kids who take my last name, and give him $8,000 a month to stay home, do the laundry, cook, and take care of the kids.
I knew there was some crazy cash to that shit. Hell no. What? I know some of you are like, man, I don't mind.
These extreme offers are seen as a last-ditch effort with little chance of success. Onlookers scoffed, saying, See, it's hopeless. This is reality. This growing trend of pressuring women is clear in the public discourse. Women are being told to lower their expectations and stop being picky. At the same time, stories of foreign brides have been strategically promoted. These narratives feature women from abroad who, through travel or study, marry Chinese men. They are portrayed as ideal wives, rooted in small towns, uninterested in wealth, and willing to forego dowries or household registration benefits.
This guy just got a dowry and he's running with the money. That's what I got. Shit.
These rare examples are amplified by media and used to lecture Chinese women. Look at them, then look at yourself. You deserve to be unhappy with such high demands. Adding to the absurdity, new standards are emerging online, such as the idea that only virgins deserve dowries and marriage exams that assign a GPA-like score. These rules demand detailed reviews of a woman's reproductive history. How many pregnancies, births, or abortions? Women are being told their worth in marriage depends on meeting these harsh criteria. At the root of this pressure is an effort to suppress the women who demand high bride price and high incomes.
Hold on a second. Guys, I'm going to pause it. Why are they saying that these men can't require what they want? How is it harsh? Yes, if he wants to know how many babies you've deleted, that matters to him. If he wants to know if you're a virgin or not, if that's what he values, good luck. I mean, I don't think that's something that most men out here are praying for, but that matters to him. You see, they don't say anything about the ridiculous expectations that we've seen over and over again over there in China that the women have. But for the men, they're like, oh, they're being harsh. It's crazy. Do you know that roughly 2 million people get married in the U.S. every single year? And out of those 2 million people who get married, 600,000 wish they had this. And what is this? It's a prenuptial agreement. You know, a lot of people have never actually seen a prenup in real life. Now, to put that in perspective, we're talking about a football stadium packed with married people who regret not signing a prenup. A part of me does understand why so many future husbands make the mistake of not getting a prenuptial agreement, right? A lot of people think only rich people get prenups, and the process is often very complicated and expensive. In fact, when I got my prenup, I wish I had guidance on how to choose the right attorney, how to avoid costly mistakes, and also just how to walk into a conversation, a legal conversation, feeling confident. That's why I decided to create fathershaverights.com. If you need a prenup but don't know where to start, our step-by-step guide can help. Get the questions every future husband asks answered by expert attorney James Sexton and the lead attorney before you sign your prenup. At fathershaverights.com, we've simplified the entire process for just the cost of a couple of coffee dates. No need to just take my word for it. You can check out hundreds of reviews of husbands who've prepared for their prenups the right way. Don't wait. Timing is everything when it comes to prenups. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your prenup guide today, and you get 25% off. All right, guys, that's it. Let's get back into the video.
Forcing them to lower their demands and accept reality. But why do women make such demands in the first place? It's not simply about greed or vanity. This distorted view of marriage is a product of decades of social engineering by the Chinese Communist Party. CCP-controlled media, movies, ads, pop culture, and online literature have long promoted the idea that marrying a wealthy, powerful man is the key to success. Women are told their worth lies in finding a ticket to power and wealth. Meanwhile, men are conditioned to believe that women only care about money and that only young, attractive, and obedient women are worth pursuing. For wealthy men, this dynamic is particularly ruthless.
So should they go after old, disobedient women? What are we talking about here?
They often favor younger women, frequently changing partners. Many young professional women who date these elite men are left behind. By the time these women approach their 30s and look for men with similar qualifications, they find these men have chosen younger women instead.
Beautiful.
Thus, they are left in a race against time, becoming part of the so-called leftover women. These so-called elite men are often individuals with money, power, and household registration benefits, those who thrive in political or business circles, leveraging networks to benefit themselves and their families. Ultimately, the women who marry these so-called elite men typically come from privileged backgrounds. For these men, marriage is not about love, it's about resource integration. A woman's education isn't the priority. What matters is whether her family can enhance their interests. Do her parents hold influential positions? Has she been trained from a young age to navigate political or business environments? Can she skillfully manage relationships tied to power and profit within the family? Women from privileged circles are groomed from a young age to excel at husband management, learning how to read people and secure family benefits. For them, marrying elite men is straightforward. For ordinary women, breaking into this circle is almost impossible.
It's really cool to see this cultural side too of how they do their weddings.
Even with strong credentials, they often remain outsiders. Women who cannot enter elite circles are left to navigate the marriage market through blind dates and evaluations of their value and future benefits. These processes involve cautious negotiations, where every action is weighed, and every contribution is expected to yield returns. For example, the marriage exam GPA mentioned previously in this video. It reduces women's reproductive history to cold statistics, turning it into a bargaining tool. Others, willing to marry down, offer economic concessions or agree to take on a house husband who will take on all household responsibilities and childcare.
I gotta ask. Because let's be honest, there's probably a dude out there who's like, I don't mind, staying home. And I'm curious, how many of you guys would be cool with that deal? Personally, that's not me. It's not me. But I wouldn't look down on a man who says, you know what? I think I would be better with the kids and staying at home. I wouldn't look down on that. At the end of the day, I think being a man of the house also comes down to delegating. And yes, I understand that whoever has the money in most cases has the power. But if it can work and she's not disrespecting you consistently, because that's what I would be worried about, the disrespect, because women, it's not me, these are studies that prove this. When they get a raise, make more money, they're more likely to divorce. They're more likely to divorce. It means that they view their husbands in that situation a certain way. If they view them a certain way, then that means that they treat them a certain way. Whereas when men make more money, they feel more capable of taking care of the woman around them. But some men may look at this and say, I wouldn't mind. Shoot, you may be living this life right now. Who knows? Comment down below.
Even small disagreements over who pays for a meal or gives the gift during a date reflect this transactional approach, as both sides try to maximize their own interests. A viral dating story on Douyin sparked heated discussions recently. A woman agreed to meet a man after hearing he drove a Mercedes, but he arrived on an electric scooter instead. To make things worse, she intentionally ordered spicy and salty Jiangxi dishes, making it hard for him to eat. She then disappeared for 20 minutes, pretending to take a phone call, left him to pay the bill, and even packed the leftovers to feed her dog. What seems like a farce is in reality a cold calculation. Trust and security have become nearly impossible to find. The root of this coldness and calculation isn't just personal flaws, it's a reflection of the broader social environment. Who made housing prices so high that young people can't afford them? Who left healthcare and retirement systems inadequate, forcing families to fear getting sick or growing old? Who exploits workers with grueling 996 or 007 work schedules, leaving them barely able to make ends meet? The dog-eat-dog world society created by the CCP leaves people too burdened by survival to think about love. The marriage market has devolved into a raw battle of interests, reducing emotional connections to transactions. Security and trust have become unattainable luxuries. This is the heart of the problem. Yet the Chinese government shifts the blame for the chaotic marriage market onto women, accusing them of being too picky, while ignoring the deeper social issues at play.
Yeah, this guy's definitely over here pandering. We've seen enough videos, bro. They are too picky. We've seen enough videos.
Some women consider not marrying at all, but then face societal pressure. Propaganda insists that women without children are irresponsible. The CCP's messaging forces women to be both workers and bearers of children. After marriage, women often face stalled career progression and reduced income. If they become mothers, returning to the workforce later is almost impossible. As a result, many women demand homes, cars, and financial stability during marriage negotiations to secure some sense of safety. If Chinese society ensured retirement, education, and healthcare security, reducing financial risks from mortgages, childcare, and medical emergencies, fewer would insist on partners earning out-of-reach wages. Some women with better financial conditions openly declare, "I choose not to marry or have children." The CCP doesn't let this slide either. Propaganda heaps moral pressure on these women, accusing them of dragging down society and abandoning family values. Being single is framed as a social problem. State media promotes the idea that leftover women are unhappy, emphasizing that marriage options decline sharply with age, implying that staying single is a personal failure. Occasionally, the media showcases success stories of women finding love late in life or marrying just in time.
I mean, they could sit there and say that and I don't know, right? Maybe that is true that the government is there pushing that. But people who believe that finding love or getting married is not a failure and they want to be childless and unmarried, they don't complain, right? They don't complain about it. I think most women do actually want a partner. We're people, we're made to be social. One of the largest predictors of somebody's well-being comes down to relationships. Now, you could say, hey, that could be a relationship with anybody. Sure, true. But the women who are married, have family, report to be happier, while the single, successful women who are in the workforce report to be more miserable and on more psychiatric medication. Now, you could say that's because the people around me are pressuring me. I don't think that's it. I think men and women are different, right? Women are more social creatures. They weren't made to enter the workforce like they have here in the States and over there in China.
Emotional narratives accompany these stories, subtly warning single women to hurry up or miss out. Meanwhile, government-backed matchmaking events like civil servant dating fairs and single youth meetups push women to find a spouse quickly. Family pressure is another tool. Relatives, acting as enforcers of government expectations, constantly nag women with phrases like, "How can you not get married?" or "Who will take care of you in old age?" Even dating sites and marriage agencies are weaponized to target single women, treating them as a resource to be managed. In the CCP's view, single women are not just individuals but potential threats to societal stability. This isn't about concern for their happiness. It's about population growth and preserving traditional family structures.
Well,
some influencers labeled
life's not
as
about
leftover
happiness.
women are accused of using their status to gain attention online. However, these platforms often serve as an emotional outlet for them to share their experiences and frustrations. Denying them this space would only increase their stress, making their struggles even harder to bear.
All right, guys, that's it. You can go watch the rest of this video again at China Observer. Hey, guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.